question for Tony and Joel around disaster planning. The question is, where's the best place to start for emergency response planning? Question I'm sure a lot of people were asking not so long ago.
Okay, so, well, for emergency response planning, of course, we have organizations that will help you get the basics. So the Red Cross, American Red Cross, they offer CPR and first aid, AED training. I would start there, make sure that you have somebody on site that is, first aid certified. If you have equipment, like if you're running a plant and you have equipment like an AED device, that somebody has training on how to use that would be the first thing that I would do. Also, make sure that your equipment has been maintained and make sure that you have records for any operations or maintenance that's required on your equipment, like diesel generators, any emergency or backup equipment, and just to make sure that you have all those records in line. I can say definitively that I've been involved in a disruption where a tornado came through and the manufacturing facility had to shut down for the day because the diesel generator was out of diesel fuel. And so it was the one time where we needed it and it wasn't there. So just, just double check all of your documentation, your requirements. Another thing that I would recommend is to back up your data. Okay. And I might be a little obsessive about this. I have everything backed up to the cloud, and then I have portable drives that I carry with me, and I have thumb drives, and you can never be too sure with your data. So if it's a process in your organization that you know is necessary, as far as a form or a document or a computer or access to files, make sure you have all of that backed up to the cloud if you can afford to do that. They're generally about $15 a month to back everything on your computer up to the cloud, but also to a physical storage space like a hard disk drive that you can take with you. That way you can start your operations right back up from with very little initial involvement. You'll have all your data, you'll have your forms, any of that type of equipment that you need. Definitely have that backed up. Beyond that, I personally feel that it's a really good idea to document. So if you have a process that you can operationalize, then operationalize all of your processes. If you're going to do something and you're going to repeat it, then write out exactly what those steps involve, and then build a handbook that you can take with you. So this gets back to the idea of a digital twin of your business. So digitalize as much of your business as possible. And then make a record, a document, a handbook, or an operations manual that you can. And I would recommend making 3 copies and putting them in places that not only you know where they're at, but other employees know where they're at as well, so that you can take those documents with you and then effectively start your operations from wherever you're at. That's where I would recommend starting.
I'd like to add on to that. My first comment was document. But just for the sake of exercise, I think it's helpful if a business owner fast forwards and tries to imagine, let's say that your business was completely obliterated today, and you had to then start figuring out what to do. What would you need to know? What would you wish you had documented or backed up or listed or something? And so a lot of times I think we think there's all these extra things to do, when just starting by figuring out what you do know and what you do have, and making sure that you're aware of everything. Because once things are destroyed or in a mess, our brains, it's hard for us to go back and think, it's like your house. If it burnt down, you'd have a hard time remembering every single thing that was in every room. And so just taking stock of everything ahead of time so that your brain doesn't have to try to think about all of that in the moment of crisis when it's really hard to do.